into session. Ms. McKay, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Redcross.
Here.
Ms. Williams.
Here.
Ms. Ramsey.
Here.
Chair Pons.
Here.
Vice Chair Dent.
Here.
Ms. Kernscher.
Here.
Ms. Prescott.
Here.
Okay, welcome, everyone. We have been presented with some minutes of February 10th. Are there any changes or corrections or a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the minutes from February the 10th, 2025.
Second.
Okay,
Ms. Redcross. Ms. Williams.
Aye.
Ms. Ramsey.
Aye.
Chair Pons.
aye.
Vice Chair Dent.
Aye.
Ms. Kernscher.
Aye.
Ms. Prescott.
Aye.
Okay, this is time for an open forum. If anybody would like to come forward and speak, please do so. Mike, anything? No? Close the open forum and we'll move on to quarterly reports. I assume you guys are at the helm.
You are. I'll handle the financials, if you don't mind.
Okay, the quarterly reports yet.
You have in front of you the second quarter financials from the Housing Authority. I'm just going to highlight a couple of the items that Mr. Franklin's written in his overview, and that's that we've collected $141,812 in rent revenues. This brings our year-to-date to $275,476, which is 59% of the budgeted amount, which is about where we should be because we're halfway through our fiscal year. So we're happy to report that. We also, for our operating subsidy, we've collected 48%, so pretty close to our 50% on our operating subsidy. And for the capital fund, we're a little low because, you know, we don't receive our capital funds till around July. So we're really operating okay at our 50% mark. If you guys have any questions about the financial sheet, I'm willing to answer any questions you guys might have.
Thank you. I don't have any questions. Any questions? No. Here? Questions?
The only question was, I know at our last meeting, we were a little unsure of the HUD money coming in, but it sounds like it's on target, so to speak. So
That one little hiccup when they locked everything down, but once they released that, we have not had any problem, and we're really diligent of taking the drawdown when the money's available, setting in our account. We take it immediately. So we're really on it. So we don't want to have any problems, but right now we haven't seen or heard of anything.
good, thank you.
Okay, takes us now to quarterly operating reports.
The Public Housing has taken 85 inspections conducted on the second fiscal quarter of the year. There is a correction from the first to the second. These inspections include housekeeping, extermination complaints, and notification of issues from various sources. All exterminating complaints have been rectified through the new pest control company. We have no more infestations. There are no more complaints. They are on a schedule and are also coming back to conduct additional ones where there were troubles in the past. The authority has returned 17 units during this fiscal year. There are 17 units with outstanding balances totaling $10,763.16. All of those balances we have filed unlawful detainers. The SCADA accounting and computer services is a software that we do all of our in-house work on. We are now getting ready to train all staff on mobile work orders. This training will allow us to do mobile inspections, mobile work orders. It will decrease paper, ink. It will allow us to take pictures and hold not only the staff but also the tenants accountable for damages that may be charged. Maintenance will be held accountable for work that in the past they've been questioned by the residents if it's done or not or incomplete. They will be able to take pictures of the work that are complete, like if there's a clogged toilet and the resident advised a week later that it was never unclogged, there will be proof that it was unclogged when the maintenance staff left. So it is going to be very feasible for everybody to use, but we all have to learn that software. Workforce housing, there has already been 2 financial classes since February. This is to assist the workforce housing classes with the 4 class requirements for the year. We have 14 workforce housing rentals on the program as of today. 13 are occupied. I have started to reach out for quotes to start the renovation for 367 Rochambeau. Volunteer and interns. The Williamsburg Housing Authority has been approved for funding for an intern through William Mary Civic and Community Engagement Division internship program. The intern's main purpose will be to assist with the online applications that has been received and the waiting list. They're also going to assist staff with administrative work and projects between May and August. We also will be working on the 5-year plan, and they will be taking on the bulk of that work as well. Recently, William Mary provided us 6 students to volunteer. These volunteers assisted staff with completing various projects and archiving files in line with the Library of Virginia retention schedule. We've partnered with Hampton Roads Workforce Council for the opportunity to work with interns with the maintenance department. This program is called Next Gen Pathway Intern Program. They take young individuals and train them in the maintenance field. After these individuals are taught in these classes, they're looking for somewhere to do internships, and they're able to come through us. The program will fund them. So they'll be paid through the program. It is not at a cost at all through the Housing Authority. The partnership will allow individuals the opportunity to work hands-on in the maintenance field and allow the Housing Authority to take on and take care of some tasks that we have not been able to since we were down one maintenance guy. The waiting list opened April 30th. We took 1,611 applications online.
Wow.
That was a lot. We had a lot that day. We assisted individuals on the phone during that time frame. We only had one person come to the window, so when we advertised, we pushed that it was all online so it wouldn't be any confusion. Human Services assisted us a lot with helping those that needed accommodations with their application, so it went very smoothly. We had some software issues, but outside of that, it was, as you can see, successful. Now we're just pushing for them to turn in their verification so we can keep those individuals on our waiting list. Project updates, the laundromats are complete. They are now working on a 10-item punch list. The activities, we have the regular activities that we do monthly. We've added some reoccurring monthly activities that staff with meetings that we sit in and the relationships that we build between the fire department and the police department. This quarter, we had recognitions of the service awards for Mr. Franklin, myself, and Ms. Felico for our tenure with the Housing Authority. Anybody have any questions?
None for me. Any down here?
Questions?
I had a quick question. Do you mind repeating the number of applicants on the waiting list?
Sure. Well, we received
Yes.
1,611. I don't have the total from the existing and what we've received with me today, but I can get that to you.
Thank you.
But you'll take that list and sort of cull it down, won't you, in terms of eligibility and things like that?
Yes, the first phase will be receiving verifications. They will have 30 days to send in their verifications that we need to identify them. It is self-serve, so they are able to upload those into the program. Once they upload those, then that would be the intern. He will step in and start verifying everything and make sure we receive everything. Before he steps in, there are reminder letters. We've already sent 3 reminder letters. There'll be another one in the second week, so it was April 30th, so around the 15th, we'll send that second reminder. We are not extending the time period this time, because we've sent so many reminders, because we were diligent with sending out the advertising beforehand. So when it comes to, I believe we're going to extend it to June 9th, then we will close it, and that's when we'll start. Those that we've not received become inactive.
Because I seem to remember that regardless of, that it tends to work it down almost to 100 and some that are really active on the wait list.
Yes, ma'am. Out of 1,600, I'm hoping that we at least keep about 800. I'm hoping for more, but realistically, with those that don't follow up and don't send their verifications, we do have like a bulk that falls off. But we are doing, everything that we can Even Human Services know that those that they work with, they are questioning if we received it, or even they're uploading it for them. So hopefully we can keep what's up there.
Okay, thanks. Just wanted to clarify a little bit that it does get whittled down.
Vice Chair?
Yeah, Ms. Burton, just since we're talking about the number of applications, could you remind the commissioners the total number of units that we have?
We have 104 units. 66 are family. So even though we're at 104, only 66 accept children. 38 are for the elderly and disabled only.
We certainly have a lot of activity going on, and appreciate all the hard work that's going in to make sure that the enterprise, if you will, is running smoothly. And really glad that the laundry facilities are open. Are they being used by the tenants now, or are we waiting on the punch list?
We're waiting on the punch list to be completed.
Did you tell us when you think that'd be done?
I do not have a date.
Okay. It's got to be close, so.
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, next is the presentation of the financial report. Again, we have Mr. Aaron Hawkins. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Is everything okay? Do I need to turn anything on? Am I good to go?
You're
Can I
good to
move
go.
things
Good to
around?
go.
All right. Assuming everyone has a copy of the financial report with them, I believe PDF is probably what you all have up there to follow along. So when if I see a page number, look at the hard copy number at the bottom of the page rather than the PDF page number, as I do not have a PDF. But presenting the FY24 financial report, and on page 1 is where I'll begin. It's our auditor's report, and it's an unmodified opinion, which says that based on the testing that we've done, the financial statements that follow this auditor's report can be relied upon to be materially correct. I won't go into anything on page 4, but I do think pages 4 through probably roughly 10 or so, or 4 through 12, are a very useful section of this report. The staff here, along with help from their consultants, help prepare this management's discussion and analysis. This just kind of gives a background on things that contributed to why the numbers were what they were this year. It has analytical tables that show what current year numbers compared to prior year numbers. Things like that that can be very useful, demographic information, just things like that, that you wouldn't necessarily see in the basic financial statements just because of how they're constructed. So useful information there. I'm going to go to page 15. And the reason I go to page 15, 2 reasons. One, your net position, you can see there beginning and ending. There really wasn't much change in your net position for the year. You started the year with about $4.4 million, ended the year with about $4.4 million. So I think the net position just decreased about $22,000 during the year. But one thing to point out, though, is under your revenues. You have 2 lines up there under revenues, federal subsidies and federal grant for your capital grants. And you got those 2 numbers there, $397,902 and $361,309. Those 2 numbers added together are quite important because it puts you over $750,000 of federal assistance. And when that happens, that triggers having to have a federal audit done under uniform guidance in addition to the financial audit that you have done. So we did do additional federal compliance procedures because of that. Several of those procedures we do anyway just during the course of the financial statement audit, but it did require some additional procedures, things that you all have to do in terms of reporting procedures. We had to request certain financial reporting that has to be done. And also just when we look at the expenditures in the financial audit, we're testing them for certain attributes, but the compliance attributes can be slightly different. Are they allowable or appropriate for that particular federal program? Jump ahead to page 35, which is our report on internal control testing and state compliance work that we do for the authority. If we had any findings to report based on that testing, we would identify those here. We did not have any findings to report on that testing. And then this is new for this year because of the federal single audit that we had to do. Page 37 is our report and our opinion on our federal compliance work. under uniform guidance. And if we had any federal findings to report based on that testing, we would identify those here, which we do not have any federal findings to report based on the testing that we did. Those were the main pages I wanted to go over in the financial report itself. In addition to preparing the financial statements and being done with the audit, we've also assisted, and we're now done with doing the HUD submission, annual HUD submission that has to be done every year. That's been, I believe, everything that we have to do has been processed, and it's now being reviewed on the federal side. So, and we've also, whenever you have a federal audit done, much like your city audit has federal compliance work, you have to submit to the Federal Audit Clearinghouse a copy of the audit, and that has been done as well. So that's all I have for you. I'm glad to try to answer any questions that you have for me.
Well, good. I don't have any specific questions, but I will just say it's good that we have yet another unmodified report, and it's being filed on time, and appreciate the awareness of the federal audit that ensued. And I guess we'll still be waiting to make sure that there's no findings from them.
So the federal audit, if we had federal findings, we would identify those and report them in what we report to Federal Audit Clearinghouse. But the HUD submission, so that has been submitted. That's not necessarily the federal audit, but that's just an annual requirement for housing. And so, yeah, if they have any, it's possible that they could say, hey, you need to fix this or correct this. That could possibly happen, and if that does, we will do so. But we await their either approval or comments, recommendations.
Good. Well, thank you for doing the work, and thank you all for doing the work that makes his job easier and makes our job even easier. So thank you. Mr. Vice Chair?
Yeah, no questions. I just want to say thank you as well to all the staff for the work that you do that makes this clear and concise.
Questions, thank you.
So I would agree. I do have two questions. So the federal extra steps an audit was required because it went over $750,000 for this past fiscal year.
Correct.
So that's the case for each fiscal year, or once you go over, are you sort of stuck there for 3 years, or?
No, it's any year that you have over $750,000, you're required to. So if next year you're below $750,000, you do not have to have a single audit done.
And is there another trigger, like if we would go over $1 million, say, from the feds?
That's an interesting point. Yeah, I'm not so sure you meant to bring this up, but it's a segue to something else. So the threshold is going to change, and I don't know if it's this coming year or the year after, but it actually increases from $750,000 to, I think, maybe even $1 million. I should know that, but I don't know it off the top of my head. But I do know it's coming soon. But no, as of right now, there's not like different levels that you reach. It's once it's over 750, you're required to do the audit.
So once that threshold changes, then we would have up to that threshold.
Correct.
So, okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
I also have no questions. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice afternoon.
Too. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no other business on the agenda, somebody like to make a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I think it requires a motion and vote on to accept the audit.
Now, thank you for, Mr. Lambert, for reminding me that. Would somebody like to make a motion to accept the audit?
So I move that we accept the audit.
Second.
Ms. McKay?
Ms. Redcross?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Ms. Ramsey?
Aye.
Chair Pons?
Aye.
Vice Chair Dent?
Aye.
Ms. Kerntier?
Aye.
Ms. Prescott?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Lambert. That was a new voice I haven't heard. I thought God was speaking for a minute. Okay, Ms. Ramsey?
So I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. McKay?
Ms. Redcross?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Ms. Ramsey?
Aye.
Chair Pons?
Aye.
Vice Chair Dent?
Aye.
Ms. Kerntier?
Aye.
Ms. Prescott?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming. We'll see you next time. We're adjourned.
Get beat up, don't get beat up.